Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and today we're going to work on one of the reels that Alejandro sent in. There's three of them. I think we're going to work on all three, but we're going to start with this one. This is an Avet. It's the Avet SX 5.3, and that 5.3 not only is a model number, but it's the ratio of the gears. So it is a high-speed lever drag reel, and we're just got a beautiful reel, very clean. And it's having trouble. It's just slow, sluggish, and that usually means that the grease is gone, right? And you know, that happens all the time. Grease evaporates over time, and when that grease evaporates, well, the reel starts to bog down with metal on metal. So we're going to take this reel apart. We'll show you how this reel is made. If you have one of these reels, then we're going to show you how to service it. And if you were thinking of buying one, well, you'll have the information about this reel. These are very popular. The Avet reels, I believe, are aluminum cases. And you'll notice as I take my pieces and parts off, I start with the exterior parts and I put them in a little parts tray. This is a fast food container, as many of you have pretty much figured out. Seems like that's where we've been going with the pandemics lately. You can't go to a restaurant, so let's go figure out what kind of fast food you can get, right? So we took a little retainer clip off of the handle nut. Now we can take the handle cap off, and we're going to put that in a tray. You'll also notice that I'm wearing a protective glove. This is just a basic latex glove, and that enables me to keep a lot of the grease and grime and dirt and junk off of that. So I don't do this just out of curiosity. I always try and pull the schematic of the reel. Just go online and you can find them. I think I got this one from reelschematics.net or .com, and that generally will tell you what to look for as you go to open up the reel. So we've taken the handle off, and we're going to go ahead and take the free spool off, because you can't get the side plate off without doing that. So this is your free spool adjust, and when I remove it, I always like to put it into the free spool itself. That just kind of gives me a mark or an indication where I'm going to start on the putback. You'll notice on the back end of this we have a spring and we have two little studs. Those studs make the click noise on the internal piece here. And then we can just lift this off, and we'll just do a quick little cleaning here before we go much further. Now, some of these reels that you'll work on, the lever drags, will have a Torx screws instead of Phillips head. In this case, we just have a Phillips head screw here. So we're going to go ahead and remove those. I'm not sure if we have to remove the bump guard ones. We probably will have to, but let's start by removing the two or three that are on the outside. When I do that, I like to take these and put them on my desk. Has me a little stubborn there, but put them on my desk, and we can check the sizes of these to make sure that they're all the same size. Many of these reels, the cases vary. We're just going to leave that one in there. The cases vary and the screws are different lengths. So we'll just, okay, so I didn't have to take the two screws off, lessons learned. We didn't need to take those two screws off for the full and the free spool markers. With that, we can remove this then, and we can see pretty much what I expected to see here. We just have a little bit of dirt and grease in here. That's probably what's bogging down the performance, and we'll go ahead and take care of that. All right, I'm going to push those three screws through. One of them already fell out. And again, I just want to make sure that the sizes of these screws are the same, and these are the same. So I'd like to go right ahead and put those into my parts tray. That way, when I go to reinstall the reel, I'll know where it is. All right, this is a long way to get to an anti-reverse click mechanism here. So it's kind of driven by a friction piece, and if I remember, there's one of two ways to do that. You can either unhook it here, or you can pull the whole assembly. For the sake of this exercise, we're just going to pull the whole assembly so you can see, in case you have your reel apart, how to put it back together again. So again, lots of small screws, so take care on holding those. That's why I find the parts tray works well. Here's our clip that comes off next. And then this is a picture, again, if you are struggling or if you've had it apart and you can't figure out quite what you did. This is the picture. You have kind of what looks like almost like a thermometer bulb riding in that little cavity. And then you can pull that up. That releases this pin on the main gear. Notice the way that the shape goes. It's in the shape of an S. People get confused with that from time to time. And then we can push this whole assembly through. There's a washer on the outside that just came loose. This is your main shaft. And then behind your main shaft you have your gear, your pinion gear, and you have a bearing. So there's two bearings on this collar. I'm not sure if these are sealed bearings or not. It's kind of hard to tell, but it looks like they are. But they don't get hurt. Let's get some junk in there. That's probably one of. I imagine this is why we have the issue with the sluggish performance. There's something caught in here. It's either very fine braid. Yeah, I would guess I would vote for very fine braid, but it could be hair. Not sure. But that's obviously one of the reasons why this thing kind of bogged down. The other is the dried grease and the like in here. So let's go ahead and start with a paper towel. Now, if you weren't paying attention, this is the back of the gear. We're going to clean that up. We're going to check the teeth. Doesn't hurt to take a brush and clear the teeth. These are all clear, but again, if you're doing this, yours may not look this way, and it's always a good thing to go ahead and get that cleaned up and inspected. Same thing here with this pinion gear. You want to do the same thing. You want to make sure that that channel is clear, all the teeth are clean and the like. And then we can come over to this other side here. There's another bearing sitting here, so we want to clean out this channel. There's three bearings. We want to get all that old grease out of there so that we can put some new stuff in. And again, if I'm looking at the way and the wear of that main gear travel, it's all in here, all where that dried grease is. So my take on this one is that it's sluggish because it doesn't have it. And I'm going to use Reel X, which is a synthetic aftermarket fishing reel oil, and I'm going to use that to keep this soak the bearings. And again, I'm not sure if they're sealed or not. All right, get some grease back onto the teeth. You don't have to get them in every tooth. I'm using Penn Precision Reel Grease for this. You can use any fishing reel grease you like, but use fishing reel grease. I like the Penn Precision Reel Grease because I can buy them in the pound containers, and they've done me well. I haven't had any issue with evaporation or clogging or anything that might speak to it being a problem. Okay, here's your main shaft. I want to make sure that's clean. It is. Put a little bit of grease on that. I'm going to insert the main gear onto that shaft, and you'll notice that there's an indentation there that's going to hold this. And then that's the way that our anti-reverse arm works. So we can come on up here then, insert and swing the arm over. You assemble your dog by putting the arm on this point here in the hole, and under that we still have to deal with that dog. You'll notice it's kind of a little proud there, but that's why they give you this little tie down piece here. So go get your tie down piece and your two small screws. Now my screwdriver has been working on this. You may need a micro screwdriver if yours is a little broader tipped. But in my case, it seems to be just right. Get that other small screw. This is why I say you need a parts tray or some kind of organization, because there are a lot of small pieces and parts to fishing reels, If you don't keep track of them, they're real easy to lose on your desk. I've seen people put them on towels and things like that as backing, if it works for you, right? But what I find typically is that will be problematic later. Okay, here's where you're going to see how the anti-reverse dog works. It's a eccentric driven, spring driven. It's an older technology, but it works. I'm going to pull that gear out. I wanted to use that gear in there for a demonstration. Now I'm going to load the gear into my pressure plate. I'm going to make sure that it has some grease on it. And you can do this next one two ways. You can put this onto your spool, or you can put this right into your assembly. I'm going to just go ahead and put it into the assembly just to make sure that it matches. Sometimes mating these things is a little tough. And then we can go ahead now, put a little bit of grease onto the main shaft. And we can align this and just kind of close the reel up. Once you have the reel set, hold the tension on it so that you can get your screws in place. There's 3 of them, and we noted when we took this off that those screws are all the same size, so it doesn't matter which position you put them in when you go to put the case back together. And in this case, with 3 of them, I guess I'm using the word case differently, but with only 3 holes, it doesn't matter if you go left and right or left, right, center, or any particular order there. Just make sure that you get them in place. And again, if you're taking this reel off for the first time, you do not need to remove these 2 screws. They're just simply there to be your bumps. All right, looking at my parts tray, the next piece up then was that washer that holds the bearing in place. Then we went the other way. We made sure that we had our adjuster for our free spool. Remember, we left it over here in the off position, so let's try and put it back in that off position. We have our cap. Preset adjust knob, I believe, is the words they use for it. And let's make sure that it's spinning in free spool. It's spinning a whole lot nicer. Spinning in free spool and not turning the shaft. If it was turning the shaft like it is here, then you would be misaligned with your free spool. In this case, we're okay. And grab the handle arm. There is a little washer on there. I didn't notice that it came off with the handle. That's fine. If your washer came off, note that that's the place where it goes. Handle nut cap goes on next. This is a 12 millimeter. And we have our tie down. And with any luck, we'll be close to the holes. Or not only close, we're right on. There's those 2 little screws again. So Avet's done their best to give us these little screws to drop on the floor in places. But as you can tell, it's a fairly simple design and a fairly simple service for a lever drag reel. Some of these can get more complicated. In this case, it's pretty much straightforward. And if you have one of these, don't be afraid to kind of follow the instructions in this video and service this reel on a regular basis. I think the sluggish performance on this reel was because it needed some service. But now we've got it spinning. These are beautiful casting reels. These have kind of done away. All right, first crank. And I noticed right away, Alejandro, you'll be happy. I noticed right away that we are in a very easy throw mode here, which was your issue earlier. Got a nice free spooling action. First strike. Full strike. We need a little bit more tension there on first strike. Let's go to that. First strike. Second strike. And of course, that's a matter of preference now, how much you want to engage first strike and second strike. But we have the full range of motion now. We have the free spool. We have a beautiful casting one with all of the bearings oiled. We have the debris, whether that was hair or braid or braided hair or whatever it was that was clogging this piece here and causing the issue. And now that issue no longer exists. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you had, please like it. And also please subscribe. That helps keep my channel vital and vibrant. And it'll also help you to see all of the projects that I take on, because I not only work on this type of a reel, but all types of reel across all types of fishing. So please subscribe. If you do subscribe, hit the notifications, because the notifications will tell you everything that it is that is upcoming in the videos that I have. If you're a first responder, if you're essential personnel, if you're in law enforcement, EMT, hospital worker, long-term care facility worker, people that are smarter than I am that have developed the vaccines and distribution of that vaccine, if you're in transportation and essential services and the like, thank you all for what you do in keeping us safe and trying to help us restore ourselves to some kind of normality during this pandemic. I hope that my videos are just a little bit of a break for you in terms of getting your mind off of all of the stuff that's going on for that period of time. And finally, if you have a reel that needs to be serviced, well, just like Alejandro here, I do service reels. You can contact me on the email on the business card that follows, and I will be happy to provide you with repair information. So this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Thank you for watching.